Hey Nature School, how's it going? It's Mr. Mike, and this week for Nature School, we're talking all about groundhogs. Now, groundhogs have another name that some people might hear. Some people call them woodchucks, but they don't really chuck wood, do they? We'll find out how they got that name here in a minute. Another name for them is whistle pigs, because sometimes they can make a real loud, not that good of a whistle, a little bit better than mine, but sometimes they make a real loud whistling noise or a scream that kind of gave them that other non-traditional name. Now right behind me, in that hole right there, is where a groundhog lives and is living and most likely hibernating in that spot. All throughout this bank right here behind me, and we're at Osborne Metro Park, is where this groundhog loves to live and hang out, and this is kind of his territory. Alright, Nature School, so what are we looking at here? This is a groundhog skull. And sometimes people get these confused with a beaver skull. And I'm going to help you point out a few subtle differences. Number one being the teeth. So the teeth of a groundhog are not stained a reddish orange like they would be on a beaver. The other thing is that they're not as large. Another really important thing and easy to point out is the eye placement. So we're going to show you a beaver skull here in a second. With a beaver skull, the eye placement is a little bit further on top of the head because they're spending all that time in the water. Now for a groundhog, they're more on the side of their head because they're a land mammal and they need to see predators coming from the side and above, so not just above. A few other things is groundhogs are actually more closely related to squirrels than they would be a beaver, which is fascinating, and we'll show you a squirrel skull here and you'll be able to see that they look a lot closer than the beaver would. Here is a picture of an eastern gray squirrel skull, and you can see that these look very similar. Obviously this is much smaller and the top of the skull is a little bit more dome shaped, but as I mentioned, groundhogs are what we call marmots, and the marmots are more closely related to squirrels than other rodents that we see. Here is that beaver skull we were talking about, so you can see the eye placement on top of the head because they're swimming around. You can see those reddish orange teeth there in the front. And another fascinating thing about all three of these mammals, groundhogs, squirrels, and beavers, is their teeth grow continuously throughout their whole life, so they're constantly having to file them down, and if they're aligned properly, they will. For groundhogs and squirrels, they grow about a 1/16 of an inch per week. So if they don't grow properly or they grow too long, they can grow back into the animal's skull, causing them even more problems. Groundhogs are herbivores. Who remembers what that term means? If you said they're like a vegetarian or they only eat fruits and vegetables, you're right, but they also eat things like bark and grass and clovers and things like that. They love all that kind of food. Their preferred habitat is an open area that butts up against the woods. So here in a second we'll pan over behind you guys and you'll see there's a big wooded area where I've definitely found some areas where that groundhog could be hiding and burrows that they've dug. What's fascinating about these groundhogs, whistle pigs, or woodchucks as some people like to call them, is they can dig a burrow that's 6 feet deep and upwards of 20 feet wide. So this whole territory, this whole bankside here where all these trees are, this groundhog's territory is pretty deep underground. Above ground, not very deep. They usually tend to stay within 50 to 150 yards of their den for two reasons. Number one, they're very skittish and solitary, so they tend to be alone, and they have predators that they have to worry about. So whether it's a coyote or a hawk or things like that. Now you think a hawk or a bald eagle eating a groundhog, that's pretty big. But these groundhogs can weigh anywhere from, at their smallest, about 3 pounds when they're first born, up to 13 pounds as a full-grown adult. Alright, Nature School. So here is one entrance, and you can see if we zoom in here, there is a little bit of dirt that's kind of filling that hole. So he's down there hibernating. We're going to try not to disturb him very much. There's a second hole right there. Up here on top of the mound, let's move over here, an additional escape route. So we're up to 3 so far. And then I think there's an additional one right here, but it might be covered up with sticks. So he's probably running this entire bank side here, because when you move over to this other tree, he has another hole right under there, and then on the back side of that, there's one over here. We'll move on over here to show you guys this last really big hole, which is probably one of his other main entrances to his burrow. Actually, there's two up here. So there's this big burrow right there, and you can see that's all full of dirt. And then another one right over there to the left. And you can see over here is a little trail. Now we know this is a groundhog and not something else because we're out here all the time, and I always see that groundhog kind of moving into these burrows and hanging out over here. So it's very common to see that groundhog here at Osborne. So right here is the groundhog's burrow where we had showed you underneath that tree, and we'll kind of pan around here and show you all of their territory. So we told you that the groundhogs, there is the music garden over there. Here is the wooded area that they like to be butted up against. So this is the South Woods at Osborne Metro Park, and all that wooded area is territory that he can go into. And then he loves this big open field right here that he can move around, travel about, see what's coming. And what else is cool is when these groundhogs build these burrows, they can have 6+ entrances to these burrows. So we showed you that one that's over towards the right, but there are multiple entrances over here, multiple entrances right at the base of that one. Another fascinating little tip is they keep their burrows very tidy. So you'll often see them moving out old bedding and things like that. Very, very often that they try to keep nice and tidy. So these homes that we had talked about are immaculate. They're crazy looking, and these groundhogs actually build multiple chambers, one for hibernating, and they often have kind of like a summer home that's separate in that burrow. And they also have a place where they go to the bathroom. So as I'd mentioned, they were extremely tidy, and they also keep the gross things out of where they usually spend time living. And the females also have kind of like a nursery or a baby room, if you could think about it that way. So it's pretty fascinating what these groundhogs can accomplish right underneath our noses. Another really fascinating fact about groundhogs is that when they hibernate, they're not like other mammals because they can drop their heartbeat from 80 beats per minute to about 5 beats per minute during hibernation. They also go from about 16 breaths per minute all the way down to 2 breaths per minute during hibernation. So if you guys watched one of my earlier videos where I talked about hibernation, that means that groundhogs are one of our true hibernators. So they're able to drop that heartbeat, they're able to drop that breath, and then they're also able to drop that body temperature, in some cases below 68 degrees, so that they can make it through that winter. Pretty fascinating feat for a mammal. So now you're probably wondering how I'd mentioned that woodchuck term and where it came from. So basically, Native Americans used to give the term woodchuck for the groundhog, and that's how it got that name, woodchuck. So it was probably a woodchuck before it was even called a groundhog, and they called it that. That word, that Native American word, actually means to dig or digger. So it actually got its name promptly and accurately because they are diggers, which would be from the woodchuck or woodchuck. They're not really out chucking wood, and if they could chuck wood, who knows? As woodchucks end their hibernation, what will happen is the males will come out of their burrows immediately looking for the females, and they'll go down into their burrows without even knocking and introduce themselves to the female. As they introduce themselves, then a few weeks later, they'll mate, and then the females will have a baby after about somewhere between 30 and 35 days. A mother groundhog can have up to 10 babies, but usually have between 3 and 6, are most of your litter sizes. And they're often called pups, kits, or cubs in some cases. During this mating season is the only time that you'll really see groundhogs socializing with one another. Other than that, they're pretty solitary, as I'd mentioned before. Now you're probably wondering, as we quickly approach Groundhog Day, how did this myth that groundhogs, or woodchucks, or whistlepigs, how can they predict the weather? So how did the groundhog become this predictor of the weather? Well, in Germany, they used to use a hedgehog to kind of do the same thing. And the closest thing that they could find here was a variable size, was the groundhog. The other benefit was sometimes groundhogs wake up as early as February to find a mate. So this was something that they could find and use right around late winter going into spring to help them kind of falsify this myth and use it to their advantage. So here in this photo is Punxsutawney Phil. He's the famous groundhog that predicts the weather every winter. Well, if there will be more winter. And he is located in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, where they have the Groundhog Day Festival every year. And people gather and get excited about this because nobody truthfully wants 6 more weeks of winter. But truthfully, the groundhog doesn't really predict what's going to happen. He only is accurate about 39% of the time. And as we all know, if he comes out and sees his shadow, there will be 6 more weeks of winter. If he doesn't, then we'll get a quicker spring. But it's kind of a false thing, but it gets people together, it gets people excited, and we're all looking forward to a beautiful spring and not so many cold, dreary, gloomy days. So as we had mentioned earlier, groundhogs are loners. They pretty much stay to themselves with the exception of mating. And even when the pups are young, they basically nurse with their mother, and then as soon as they're done nursing and they no longer need her and can find to provide for themselves, which is usually anywhere from 3 to 6 months at the most, then the young are off on their own, really never to see their mother again unless in passing, because they usually tend to stick to their own territories. All right, Nature School, that's about all we have time for today. Hopefully you guys learned something about groundhogs, and you guys have a good rest of your week, and look out for my challenge this week. Hopefully you guys will be able to participate. I'll see you guys later. Pound it.